Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Disney Store exclusive Star Wars Elite Series diecast 7-inch scale Darth Vader figure. Alright you guys, so here we have a brand new Darth Vader figure, which is always fun. Darth Vader is my favorite Star Wars character, and was really excited to learn that they were doing a Disney Store exclusive die-cast Elite Series figure. I haven't purchased any of the other Elite Series figures from the Disney Store, but Darth Vader I had to have, and basically it's a 7-inch scale figure. It's die-cast, so you know it's a heavy metal figure, quite literally, and these are Disney Store exclusives. So if you wanted to get this Darth Vader, basically you had to show up at your Disney Store the morning that they were released and then get a raffle ticket in order to have a chance at purchasing one. Or you could hold out like I did on DisneyStore.com the following night, and I was able to order one. And I'm not sure how long it took for them to sell out. I think it probably at least a few hours. Probably they'll get some more, I would imagine, like they have with some of the other characters. So, you know, if you still want to get this Vader, you'll have your chance. But, you know, you might want to watch this review first because we are going to go into detail about what the figure is comprised of and, you know, what it's like. So, really nice window box. I really like the black, gray, and red look to it. You can see the figure in there very nicely. Ages 3+, die-cast, Star Wars Elite Series, Darth Vader die-cast action figure, Disney Store. On the side, basically it just says die-cast action figure. I really like the look of this, you know, like, I don't know, it's like a slate or some sort of material. The other side is exactly the same. And on the back, it gives us some information there. Essentially, it says that this is a premium line of die-cast action figures, and it gives you a bio there of Darth Vader as far as after he fell to the dark side. So if you'd like to read either of those sections, feel free to pause now and do that. You also get a sticker right there that Disney loves to apply on things that you buy from their online store. And then it tells you the price right there, $24.95 in the US, which is what I paid for it, plus shipping. So I'm going to go ahead and get Vader out of the box, and we'll take a closer look and see what this is like out of the packaging. All right, you guys, and now we have Mr. Vader out of the packaging after about 20 minutes of struggling to get this guy out. It was absolutely ridiculous. One of the hardest figures to take out of the packaging I've ever had to deal with. For example, you're supposed to get this plastic piece off of him, but you can clearly see that his legs are held in by these twist ties that end in these little knots. So it's like impossible to get him out unless you have like really tiny wire cutters. Finally, just ended up cutting all of these things, and awful. Anyway, the figure itself is kind of a mixed bag. You know, just looking at it from a little bit of a distance here, it looks quite good. It's sculpted pretty nicely. The physique is quite good. Though I do find that the detail on this Vader figure is very soft. Like, there's not a whole lot of rich detail. It's just kind of like, you know, very, very basic looking. But the sculpt is mostly there. They did a very nice job on his physique and his proportions. Although the figure is die-cast, the cape is just this soft kind of plastic, and I think it looks okay. Could have been a lot better. And he does come with a couple of accessories. And first things first, I'm going to give you a close-up here of Vader's head. And this is something that I was struggling to notice in other people's reviews. Nobody has really shown a very good look at Vader's helmet, and I want to do that for you guys here because it is quite disappointing. Like I said, the sculpt for the most part is there, but the detail is very, very soft, and also the mask has this very bubbled kind of look to it. You see, it's very textured, almost as if he was a burn victim or something, which, you know, insert your jokes here, Darth Vader burn victim. But let me give you some extra light on that. It just doesn't look that great. I don't know what in the hell happened. It's just like very, very textured and bubbled. Oh, that's terrible. You know, from what I could see in other people's videos, that didn't look to be something that they were dealing with. But, you know, I guess I got lucky and ended up with the one that had all that bubbling or whatever you want to call that. I just don't get it. I mean, the helmet is nice and smooth for the most part. You see it is a little bit grainy, but I don't know why the face on my Vader looks like that. It just looks awful. You can't really see a whole lot of sculpted detail. Like the grill that he's supposed to have over his mouth, you don't really see it. It's just kind of like barely there. The eyes, there's really not any detail around them. You can see the outlines where the eyes are, but like I said, the details are just very soft on this figure. They really didn't do a good job of bringing out that detail.
Very disappointing, to say the least. I mean, considering that this is a $25 figure, which isn't high end, but it isn't exactly cheap either. Just very disappointed that, it looks like that, because that is pretty hideous. Other than that, like I said, the helmet looks good. The dome looks good. It's nicely proportioned, just as it should be. The rest of the armor looks good. It's a very heavy figure because it is die cast. So, this probably weighs at least a good couple of pounds. But you can see it has very nice detail on the rest of the body as far as like the torso goes. They did a nice job with the coloration of his armor, and then the chest box. Belt looks really good. The rest of his like under armor, or whatever you want to call like his pants and his sleeves, like I said, looks very light as far as detail is concerned. They didn't really do a whole lot of work for that. It's very soft looking, and I think that's a little bit of a disappointment. His hands, he's got one hand that's closed, so you can put a lightsaber in there, and then he's got like a force choke hand. His cod piece, looks pretty good. The boots look pretty good, nice and shiny. And like I said, the cape is just kind of like this pliable rubber plastic. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't look horrible, but just imagine how cool this would have looked with a soft goods cape. I think, contrasting against the metal, I think it would have looked very, very nice. So, I mean, and then they sculpted it kind of like in this action-oriented wind pose or whatever. I don't like that. And then you get the under skirt right here, the lower piece that he's got going. And that, too, is kind of like windswept a little bit. And I don't think it looks that great. It just doesn't. You can see the screw holes there on the back of his torso. And by and large, it looks pretty good. Like I said, if you look at it at a distance, it really does look pretty good. But it's once you get it close up and start inspecting all the little details that this really falls apart. Just very disappointing that they went through the effort of creating a 7-inch Darth Vader figure that should have been flat out awesome. And it's not terrible, but it's just so disappointing that the quality ended up being what it is, especially on that mask. It's really, really taking me off. As far as articulation goes, he does have some decent articulation. Vader's got a ball joint here at the head, and you get a pretty good range of movement with it. I've seen on some videos that the dome comes off. This one seems like it's glued on or something. I don't want to mess with it too much. He's got ball joints at both of these shoulders, and I'm quite impressed with the fact that they're not hindered by his armor, by the shoulder armor right there. They just kind of go in there pretty smoothly. And he's got bends at both of the elbows. He's got swivels at both of the wrists. He's got a swivel at his waist. He's got ball joints at both of the hips, but they are hindered a bit by his lower cape. And then he's got bends at both of the knees. Though, again, you're not going to get a whole lot of movement out of them because of the lower cape. And then he's got bends at both of his boots. And look at the huge heels he's got on both of his boots. Never really noticed Vader having such big heels before. And in case you're wondering, this Darth Vader is based on Revenge of the Sith. How can I tell? Well, the helmet is a pretty clear giveaway, given how high it sits off from his shoulders and the overall shape of it. Clearly Revenge of the Sith. But not only that, one of his accessories, the extra long lightsaber that he comes with, also has a hilt that's based on his Revenge of the Sith lightsaber design. Clearly that's Revenge of the Sith, and it looks pretty good. I think, it looks quite nice. The red blade is a very nice shade of red, it's very deep red, and I think by and large it looks good. But like I said, it's a very long lightsaber. And I think David Prowse was like, 6'5", I want to say? So that lightsaber's got to be at least 5 feet long. Crazy. And he holds the lightsaber just fine. It goes in very, very easily. It's not too tight, not too loose, and, looks good. You also get a display base so that you can stand your Darth Vader figure on it. It's very simple, but I think it actually looks quite good. It just basically has like a pattern on it and says Star Wars. On the back, pretty simple, kind of smudgy looking, and says Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Disney Store, London, China, all that. And there is a little peg here for his foot. And it is worth noting that only the right foot has a hole for the base. But it's not really that good of a fit. Like if I try and get his boot in there, it's very tight. It goes in. It's just very tight. And I guess that's a good thing because this is a heavy figure after all. One final thing worth mentioning is that the arms, they're not necessarily tight like at the shoulders here, but they're not like overly loose either. Like Here in his right one, it just kind of goes up and down like that. You know, there is some give there. It's a little too much. I wish these were a little bit tighter, but you know, you can still kind of like pose him and stuff, so it's not really a huge deal. But you know, I would prefer if they would have made these just a little bit tighter. And just a quick comparison here of the Elite Series diecast Darth Vader along with the Hasbro Star Wars 6-inch Black Series Darth Vader. And I've never been a huge fan of the Black Series Vader. There's a lot of great stuff in the 6-inch Black Series line, but this Darth Vader has never been one of them. In that respect, despite how light the detail is on the Elite Series Vader, I think I prefer it over the Hasbro version just because it looks a little bit more impressive overall. And it actually reminds me quite a bit of this old Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader figure that Hasbro did a decade ago, which, you know, it's also based on Revenge of the Sith, quite obviously, so similar helmet shape. It's got one hand, just like the other one, that's closed off so you can slide the lightsaber in, and, you know, same Revenge of the Sith style lightsaber hilt, and then one open hand. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Disney Store exclusive Star Wars Elite Series diecast Darth Vader 7-inch scale figure. Overall, you guys, I gotta say that it is a very mixed bag. As a Darth Vader fan, I had some pretty high hopes for this figure, but it's just not that great. I mean, let me tell you this, for what I paid for it, 25 bucks, I am happy to have it in my collection because I love Darth Vader, and I think that when you're looking at it like this from a distance, it does look very good. But once you start looking at it up close and, you know, seeing the detail on its face, how lousy it is, it's really a disappointment. The detail is just very soft on the figure. It's not very rich. It could have been a little bit better, especially on the helmet. That's the biggest problem for me, is that, you know, that's where all the detail should be if they had to kind of put it in one spot. But it looks like they gave most of the best detail here to the midsection of the figure. I really don't like all the bubbliness of the face. I think that that is a defect with this figure because it doesn't seem like other people's Vaders have that, as far as I could tell. But again, there aren't any videos out there that really show you a good look at his helmet. So I hope I was able to do that for you with this video. I think it's cool if you wanted to use it as a standalone display piece, like maybe on a bookshelf or on a desk at work, something like that. I think that it's a pretty nice piece just to have it by itself. As far as whether or not you should pick up this Darth Vader, that's kind of hard for me to say. I would tell you that as a longtime Star Wars collector and a huge fan of Darth Vader, I do think that it is one of the better large-scale Darth Vader figures that has come out before. I do like it a little bit better than Hasbro's 6-inch Black Series Darth Vader. So if you're a fan of the character, then I would certainly say you're probably going to like it. And if you've been collecting all the Elite Series figures, you know, then it's probably going to be a no-brainer for you. But if you're one of those who hasn't given the Elite Series a lot of attention and you're not a huge Darth Vader fan, then I would say just skip it. In any case, if you're picking it up, I would say that $25 is probably the maximum you're going to want to pay for it. It's not worth any more than that. On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, I'm going to go ahead and give this Darth Vader figure 3 stars. It's an okay figure, but it is also disappointing at the same time. Alright, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, then I do encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this Darth Vader figure down in the comments. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.